Hey, welcome back. Let's go ahead and count up the discs. All right, I'm gonna try once again to use similar colors, but I think I'm gonna fail when it comes to the light blue because I don't have a light blue. All right, holes were in this color. We're gonna pretend that the tenths are in this color instead of the light blue. Um, so I'll circle one just so we know, and then hundredths are gonna be in pink. All right, so let's count how many of each we have. All right, so if I'm looking at my picture, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tenths. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hundredths. All right. So it looks like we're going to have to regroup a little bit. All right. If we have 11 of these, it's the same thing as saying that we have 1/10 and 1/100th, right? This is 11 hundredths. So what we're actually going to do is we are going to say instead of having 11 hundredths, we actually have, we're going to trade out 10 hundredths, right? And that will leave us with 1/100th left over. And then instead of having 11 tenths, we traded out one of these. So we have 12 tenths now. All right. So we just regrouped. Instead of saying we have 11 hundredths, now we have 1/100th. Instead of saying we have 11 tenths, we turned 10 of those hundredths into 1/10. So now we have 12 tenths. All right. But now let's think about this. If we have 12 of these, if you had 12 dimes, how much money do you have? Do you have over $1? Do you have over a whole? Yeah, totally, right? If 10 tenths equals one whole, then here's what else we can do. We can cross out 10 tenths and trade them out for one more whole. So now we have 7 wholes because we took 10 of our tenths and turned them into one of these. So we now have 7 wholes. And just to be clear, we have 2 tenths because this was left over and 1/100th. All right. And if we're thinking about where the decimal point would go, it would go between the wholes, tenths, and hundredths. All right. So looks like our answer is going to be 7 and 21 hundredths. Now, is there an easier way? Absolutely. There's an easier way. All right. Let's take a look at the easier way. Here is the answer. Of course, we got 7 and 21 hundredths. All right. So what they did is they counted them up. They just put all of them in a row. All right. So as you can see, they started with the 6, and then they had 11 tenths, and they had 11 hundredths. Then what they're going to do is they're trading out 10 of the hundredths for 1/10, and they're trading out 10 of the tenths for one whole. And so that's why we have 7 wholes after all. All right, and like I said, the easiest way to do this is just remember, pretend, first thing, stack your decimal points. So we have 2 numbers, so we're going to have 2 decimal points. Let me just show you right there. All right, so we have 2 numbers, so we have 2 decimal points. So stack the decimal points, perfect line, put them in line. All right, stack them vertically, and then fill in the place values. So we have 2 and 53 hundredths. Over here we have 4 and 68 hundredths. And the coolest thing now is you can pretend like the decimal points don't exist until you're done adding. So they can do their John Cena impression. You can't see them. You can put an invisibility cloak on the decimal points. Just pretend that they're not there. All right. And then just do the regular addition. All right. So 3 plus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. As you notice, we're getting some of the same numbers that we got over here with regrouping. Now we have 5 tenths plus 1/10 equals 6 tenths plus another 6 tenths would equal 12 tenths. So the 2 stays down here, and we bring our regrouped 10 tenths as a one whole over here. And then we're going to add all of this. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7. And then this is the last step. Don't you forget this step, because if you forget this step, you have a different answer. All right, right now, we ignored the decimal point to the very end. So right now our answer is 721. We have to drop this decimal point like it's hot back into the answer. All right, so we do know that our answer is indeed not 721, but 7 and 21 thousandths. All right, so remember, stack your decimal points, stack your place values, pretend the decimal point doesn't exist, add like normal, drop the decimal point like it's hot at the very end.